All right, Nation, we're going to talk a little bit about the curious case of Byron Jones. Everybody knows that $14 million is right around the corner for him. I'm thinking that, hey, when you look at his overall skill set, he don't give up a lot of touchdowns. He's not going to be a guy to give you a lot of turnovers, nor he's going to force fumbles or he's going to come down and crack on you. He's not that guy. However, I believe the writing is maybe on the wall because Mike Nolan came out and said what he said about, hey.
Would you prefer a ball hawk?
Always. If it has to do with the ball, I would take that first. Yeah, if you were going to describe somebody, that's a great point, because if you're going to describe a defensive back as somebody that stole the ball, that would be your guy. A quickly reflection, I was talking to Troy Aikman probably 15 years ago, and I remember talking about DBs and throwing against him, and he said, he says, I'm not really concerned, and he may or may not remember this, but I'm not really concerned with throwing at a corner that I know is just going to knock the ball down. He says, I throw incompletions all the time. He says, but we were talking about Dion. He says, but when I throw at Dion, he says, I got to be concerned about that ball going for 6 the other way. And I thought that was a great point. And the really good quarterbacks, I think, recognize that same thing. There really is no fear in throwing a ball if it's going to be complete or on the ground. But when that guy who's covering him can take it the other way, as you mentioned, the ball hawk, that's a difference maker.
I would rather have basically a playmaker, a guy that's going to be able to take the ball away, snatch the ball away from the opposition, opposed to the guy that's just going to bat the ball down. Now, there may be writing on the wall. Here's the thing with Byron Jones. He's not a guy that can travel. He's not a guy that can carry. I think that on the most part of it is that the fact that his hips are stiff. He don't have those oily hips, those smooth hips into his transitions as relates to back pedal, and spacing is always an issue. But where Byron Jones wins is when it's down to boundary technique, squeezing you to the sideline. He's just fantastic on that. He's not going to give up 25 to 30 yards. I look back at all of his film from last season, and I just didn't see it. He gave up 1 touchdown. One can argue he had inside leverage. Why in the world you don't put a little bit more pressure on the rookie wide receiver? And shout out to Tom Brady, one of the best balls you can ever see being thrown as it relates to that back shoulder fade. So we look at those things and we say to ourselves, we wanted change. We wanted something that we can look out and see and say to ourselves, man, when this change come around the corner, we got the talent level. We're just not being coached up to that level. And when we start challenging the very position that's out there, we shouldn't go cry now. We want to change. We're getting change. They bringing in coaches. I believe that these new coaches, they don't have the same love affair. So however we feel about the situation, it is what it is. Now, I will say this, Cowboy Nation. When we look at the total picture of this team, and we will say, for many of years, we let players go and didn't get nothing in return. Nothing in return. This time, I would like for them to put a tender on Byron Jones. If they're going to get rid of Byron Jones, put a tender on him. Maybe you can be a first round. Maybe it can be 2 second-round picks. Maybe it can be a first and a third, or a second and a fourth. I want to see us get something in return. I just don't want to see Byron Jones leave and we don't get nothing in return because we couldn't find $14 million. Now, I will say this. With the $94 million that we, I guess, should have, it's anywhere between 90 to 94 million. 81 now, but when they make the new salary cap adjustments and these sorts, it should be right around 91 to $94 million. $94. But you guys know what I'm saying, right? So what I'm trying to say is that he's a solid guy. I would figure out a way to pay the man, keep the man, and see how he would do with 1 more year. Now, for the counter argument, because I do know that I'm gonna hear a lot of people say, well, Law, how are you going to say that about Byron Jones, that he's solid? And that's what half of the Dak Prescott haters are saying. They're not saying that he's all the way trash. They're saying that he's solid. He's not going to win you big games. He's going to lose in certain games because he played too safe to his vest. Byron Jones and Dak Prescott are 2 different positions, 2 different type of people. And I will say this right quick, is when you look at Dak Prescott growth parameters from 2016 to now, the kid done developed in so many small ways that it's crazy. And Mike McCarthy, he did say, hey, I like what he's doing with this particular team. So we're looking at all of those things. Also, with that being said, shout out to DallasCowboys.com. Fantastic, wonderful, marvelous, if you want to put that into those categories. They give us some insight. Maybe too much, but for right now, I love what I'm able to see. They got a chance to speak with Mike Nolan, of course, I already mentioned that earlier, but they got a chance to speak with Kellen Moore. And the way Kellen Moore was able to say, oh, okay, hey, I look at it like this.
So get the best players the ball offense. Up there they were able to throw the rock a bunch. Hey, that's absolutely what you should be doing. We got some other pieces here, and we'll kind of try and figure out what our formula is for that. But I don't see any concern with that. I mean, we got a running back who's really good, and another one behind him that's really good, and we want to get them the ball.
Mike McCarthy, offense will be his offense, but I'm glad that they kept the language so that the new players will not have to learn new language. However, I'm looking at it from this thing is that we're going to keep some of the continuity, but I'm going to learn a lot. Basically, if I can shorten it up a little bit. And when we roll out this new system, it's still going to be a new system. All of our guys should be ready. That's just how it goes. Check out the interview on DallasCowboys.com or on their YouTube, since they YouTube gang in this thing. Now everybody's on YouTube now, right? Everybody's on YouTube now. And what was the other deal? The other deal was Coach Bones.
Do you think the importance of special teams to this team is because of how poor it played last year?
I can't answer to that. I don't know. So I'm coming into this just with a blank slate for myself and for every person who's been on this team. And I look forward to building it how I want to build it, as far as the in the meeting room on the practice field type. But what's happened here in the past, I can't speak to that, but I just know in the future, I look forward to getting my hands on the players and teaching them some of the things that we want to dive into and getting them to become prideful in what they do.
Coach Bones, wow. Hey, he said, hey, I haven't got a chance to make the fair assessment of the players, but I did get a chance to look at the tape. I'm looking over film. We're going to make our assessments, and I think that everything will work its way out. And Mike Nolan echoed the same sentiments, that the difference between the 3-4 and the 4-3 is nothing to him. It's just more so to do with, we're going to put the best 11 guys out there. So there's no more coddling. The best 11 players out there that can make some plays, they're going to be out there on the field. So for those who are crying for Jourdan hip pocket Lewis and sitting there saying, hey, just because he's short, just because he's not tall, just because his arm length is not long enough, doesn't mean, you see what I'm saying, that he can't ball. So in this new system, there's none of that love affair, what round he was drafted in and how they feel about the way he can eat certain foods and how tall he is and how short he is and these sorts of things. No, the best player going to get out there to play. That's what we wanted. That's what we've been crying for many of years. I can say that this team is going to be a different team from 13 years ago, a different team from 10 years ago, a different team from 5 years ago, a different team from 2 years ago. And guess what? This is going to be a different team from 1 year ago. So we like what we're seeing. We love it. I hope that all of this paper talk, it's just paper right now, that it can translate and then we can get a better grasp. Get a better grasp of when we get out there to Oxnard. Also, I like the fact that Mike Nolan said this as well.
A lot of free agents defensively. How hard is it just to get your scheme in and you have some uncertainty with your personnel?
Not so hard because, like I said, we're going to build it with a little bit of volume so that when we do get our players, we can practice what we preach, and that is have the ability to say, hey, this guy does this well. We need to go that direction a little bit.
He said that when you think about it, I can't really grade this team because we still have to go through his free agency. I like that. We still have to evaluate the team once we're done with the draft. So the concepts are coming in. And I'm thinking that this team may make a strong move or a pull at free agents, regardless, because we got 26 guys. It's that's on the free agent right now list. So a lot of times remember all of those years we say, we did pretty good in the free agent. We signed our own guys. I just don't see this team signing their own guys again. I see this team more so picking out their own guys from their other team. That's how I'm looking at it. I could be 100% wrong, but when you look at everything from A to Z, this team all together, it's going to look different. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know how you all feel about this Cowboys roster, upcoming roster, the Cowboys upcoming 2020 season. I do know a lot of people going to be saying that, hey, we've been saying this for years and years long. Nothing's going to change. Jerry Jones is still the owner, and Steven Jones is still got his hands in the mix. Will McClay is doing this. Will McClay is not doing that. And Dak Prescott sucks. You know how that stuff goes. You're going to hear that talk all over again. And what else they like to say? Well, we can't get in our own way. We're an accident waiting to happen and these sorts of things. This right here, this is a whole different team. And we got to look at it from a different lens now. There's no more of those old retreads, you say. So we'll see. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go.